Every story appears ordinary until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Gift Ogete. In our major story, the People's Democratic Party says the Independent National Electoral Commission was not ready for the February polls, which have been put off till March 28 and 11th of April. Also in this program, the All Progressives Congress says President Goodluck Jonathan must clear the air on alleged plan to sack INEC boss Atahiru Jega. The federal government says it has succeeded in empowering 200 The federal government says it has succeeded in empowering 2,500 entrepreneurs and created over 5,000 direct jobs. Now outside Nigeria, Syrian President Bashar Assad says he was informed of US-led coalition airstrike against Islamic State targets inside Syria. Good to have you. Stay tuned with us. Now details of the headlines and other stories. The ruling People's Democratic Party is insisting that poor preparation by the Independent National Electoral Commission is the real reason behind the postponement of the elections. PDP also said that, like the All Progressives Congress, it was frustrated by the development having traversed the whole country on campaign. Director General of the party's campaign organization, Ahmadu Ali, said at a news conference in Abuja that the shift in date is clearly meant to save INEC from national embarrassment. The former PDP chairman argued that aside from millions of permanent voter cards which have not been distributed, there were issues with card readers and ballot papers.
Be possible to have a credible election when millions of Nigerians are disenfranchised because of lack of permanent voter cards? There are also reports that the PVC readers are not fully distributed and tested. How can INEC handle cases of faulty card readers, especially in remote areas? Do they have a credible plan B in situations where voters are lined up and the card readers refuse to work? Ballot boxes are reportedly inadequate. Adequate training of staff for the election had not been concluded, and other problems facing INEC. Quite clearly, the shift in election date is meant to save INEC from monumental embarrassment. I would like to reiterate that the PDP is ready for the election.
Following the rescheduling of the 2015 general elections, Ogun State Governor Ibikunle Amosun has asked residents of the state, party supporters and all Nigerians to be calm. He says the postponement is a blessing in disguise for his party. He also says the non-collection of the permanent voter cards is not an excuse for INEC, adding that the nation has never voted with a full percentage of voters before.
They say, I said, no, nobody should shout. Oh. Just wait. Indeed, probably it will be a blessing in disguise for us. Probably we will have beaten them maybe 80-20 or 9 will be total. Because, I mean, everybody is ready now. Now, is this what they want to do? We are ready for them. We are not going to fight. We are going to fight with our votes. And in any case, it gives everybody, at least for me, we've covered the 19th local government. You are here. We have only one local government to go. which we are starting tomorrow. So we are ready for the election. But they said they are pushing it forward, no problems. If they talk about even the cards, yes, even in Nigeria, we are the least. Ogun State is the least in terms of percentages that have been distributed. But for me, go and look at the history of Nigeria. The best we've achieved would be 57, 58, maybe at best 60%. Even it's strange when you have 50%. We are used to between 40-something and maximum 50-something, unless we have the right results. It's only where the right result that you will see people saying they score above 60. So if majority of the states within Nigeria have received in excess of maybe that 55-60%, for me, I'm comfortable to go into the election.
The All Progressives Congress Presidential Campaign Organization wants President Goodluck Jonathan and his party to clear the air on allegations of sinister motives behind the postponement of the 2015 elections. This, it says, is necessary because not many people are convinced of the reason for the shift in the dates of the election. APC campaign spokesman Garba Shehu said in a statement that in the aftermath of the postponement, there had been suggestions on the possibility of an interim government and the likely sack of INEC chairman Tahiru Jega. The party wondered why the National Security Advisor Samuel Dasuki recently went to Chatham House in the UK to call for election postponement. He also expressed concern at his claims that Boko Haram will be crushed within 6 weeks. The People's Democratic Party Presidential Campaign Organization has denied that the general elections initially scheduled for February 14th and 28th were postponed principally because of Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast. Spokesman for the campaign team, Femi Fani-Kayode, insisted that the decision never emanated from the Jonathan administration but from the Independent National Electoral Commission as a result of logistic challenge. He made it known during a brief one-on-one interview session with the British Broadcasting Corporation BBC African Service. He argued that INEC agreed to shift the dates because many eligible voters in Nigeria had yet to get their permanent voter cards. Fani Kayode explained that Boko Haram became part of the problem for postponing the election because the service chief suggested that they could not guarantee security during a nationwide election, and at the same time focus on the task of flushing insurgents out of the northeastern part of Nigeria. On whether the PDP would support any further postponement if the military failed to effectively contain the insurgents, Fani Kayode simply said the constitution has limitations on the number of days elections should hold before handover date. Associates of the national leader of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, have raised the alarm on the presence of soldiers in the vicinity of his Lagos residence in the last 3 days. Media aides of the opposition figure said in a statement that soldiers numbering about 30 had been sighted in 3 patrol vans and an army truck close to the gate of Tinubu's private residence along Badilon Road in Ikoyi. They say the soldiers were first noticed on Sunday at about 11 p.m. in an army truck stationed 500 meters away from Tinubu's gate and had been around since then on surveillance. Tinubu's media aides noted that as of Tuesday morning, 2 army vans were stationed on both sides of the house along Badilon Road. But reacting to the development, the APC leader said he will not be intimidated by what he described as a show of strength and possible harassment. He, however, insisted that he would remain resolute in his advocacy and support for the rule of law. President Goodluck Jonathan says his administration has empowered 2,500 young entrepreneurs as well as created 5,400 direct jobs. He also said each of the young entrepreneurs has since created an average of 9 jobs to bring the total job created indirectly by his administration to 22,000. President Jonathan reeled out his figures at the launch of Youth Entrepreneurship Strategy in Abuja. He said the feat was achieved through the federal government's youth enterprise.
Have been placed under this program, and we are ramping up efforts to ensure that many more graduates are supported. We also have a program called the You Win, which of course has testimonies and the agripreneurs to support highly skilled youth and budding entrepreneurs. These programs have been designed to ensure that young Nigerians get training, mentoring, and more critically, access to finance through grants, which had been difficult for them to access in the past, to set up their own companies, which will then employ their fellow youth. Of course, the young man who spoke last, the accountant, so that a number of young people don't believe that these are real. Probably we need to do more elaborate packaging so that you listen directly to them. They have been exhibiting their products, and these are real. A number of young men have benefited through this program.
We believe that there needs to be a mindset shift in Nigeria, especially for our young people. And so the platform is going to take that to the next level. Young people need education in self-reliance, in self-belief, in leadership, and in entrepreneurship skills. Because 90% of the businesses that fail because folks do not understand the entrepreneurship skills of marketing, accounting, and so on. And so the platform will provide that. And then, Mr. President, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we have not left out our fathers. We have not left out the mega billionaires. Those folks who are constantly appearing on Forbes magazine as billionaires, international billionaires, dollar billionaires, mega billionaires. We are now asking them to come and sign up at 9net.com as super mentors so that they can now mentor the next generation of Nigerian business leaders.
APC Presidential Campaign Organization has questioned the rationale for commencing another recruitment exercise in the immigration service when those behind the last one that ended in tragedy had not been penalized. Spokesman for the campaign team, Gaba Shehu, said in a statement that the authorities had not even deemed it fit to fulfill their promises of compensation for families of the 19 victims. He described the move as insensitive, adding that Nigerians do not deserve to be treated with contempt by their leaders. APC chairman, campaign spokesman, however, said his party would treat the people with respect and dignity if his candidate Muhammad Buhari is elected as president. President Goodluck Jonathan is to host a special edition of the Presidential Media Chat tomorrow, Wednesday, February 11th, 2015. A statement issued by the presidency indicates that the program will, as usual, be broadcast live on the network services of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, and the Voice of Nigeria, VON, from 7 p.m. It ordered that the chat will center around current national issues. The war of words over the leaked alleged Ekiti rigging audio tape has continued, with the Ekiti state government threatening legal action against Shahara reporters and the All Progressives Congress over alleged blackmail. The government also ordered that the alleged audio tape will not affect the Court of Appeal ruling over the 2014 Ekiti governorship poll, which has reserved ruling over the matter. Rashid filed in this report from Ado Ekiti on the issue.
Dissatisfied with the Ekiti 2014 governorship election petition ruling upholding the election of Ayodele Fayose as the governor of Ekiti State, the All Progressives Congress has approached the Court of Appeal to take another look at the issue, and the court has reserved ruling on the matter, with the parties to the appeal expressing optimism on what they expect from the court.
All the points canvassed by the tribunal were decided against the appellant, and we have tried to persuade the court to say that there are no valid reasons advanced in law for this court to depart from what the tribunal did.
He stated our point, and I think we should leave the matter for the tribunal to decide one way or the other. We felt for the Court of Appeal to decide one way or the other. We felt the lower tribunal was wrong in reaching that decision. So it's for the Court of Appeal to now look into it and come to a decision whether the reason of the tribunal in that regard in striking out those paragraphs can be sustained.
But while the parties look to the court for succor, the recent release of an audio tape purportedly revealing some top members of the People's Democratic Party talking on how the election was allegedly rigged has raised the stakes. But the Ekiti state government has dismissed this as nothing but cheap blackmail.
In other places, when you have a case in court and you have evidence, you guide it jealously and take it to the court. So why we're excited over somebody who has a case in court and claims to have a damning evidence, but instead of taking it to court because it won't stand up, he takes it to the social media. The Sahara reporters themselves have approached by proxy Mr. Governor to exchange that thing for money. They are blackmailers. And when we said go ahead, we are not buying. We are not buying. They approached almost everybody that they claimed were to be in that conversation.
Ogunshi also added that the promoters of the alleged rigging tape will answer to the courts over the matter.
Mr. Governor is contemplating taking legal action. We are talking with our lawyers. We are going to seek legal redress, both here in Nigeria and in America. You know, because you cannot just wake up one day, make some simulations and animations, and then claim that you are going to release the things in bits and parts.
Though the appeal court has reserved ruling on the election petition appealed by the APC, the drama on the political scene of Ekiti State promises more interesting episodes to come. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
It's still CoreTV Primetime News. We'll be back with details of the renewed efforts to end the Boko Haram menace and posting of commissioners of police by the Police High Command. Stay with us.
Your account is too low for this call.
Never get stranded with MTN Extra Time. You can now borrow airtime and pay back at your next recharge. Dial *606# now to enjoy the new MTN Extra Time.
MTN, everywhere you go.
Welcome back. Now, if you've just joined us, a recap of our major headlines. The People's Democratic Party says the Independent National Electoral Commission was not ready for the February polls, which have been put off till March 28th and 11th of April. The All Progressives Congress says President Goodluck Jonathan must clear the air an alleged plan to sack INEC boss at Tahiru Jeddah. The federal government says it has succeeded in empowering 2,500 entrepreneurs and created over 5,000 direct jobs. Don't forget that you can also catch us on our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. On Twitter at CoreTV News NG. And on YouTube, it's youtube.com/CoreTV News. We continue with the rest of our stories. The Lagos PDP has taken its governorship campaign to Ikorodu town as part of efforts aimed at selling the candidature of Jimmy Agbaji to Lagosians. Oluwaseyi Adegoke, who was at the Ikoyi Town Hall field of the campaign rally, filed in this report.
The PDP supporters gathered could not hide their excitement upon the arrival of Lagos PDP governorship candidate Jimmy Agbaji at the venue of the rally. Lagos PDP chairman Tunji Shele says he is confident that his party will win the governorship election in the state come April 11. PDP leader Body George, in his speech, which was a mixture of both English and Yoruba, urged residents of Ikorodu to vote for Jimmy Agbaji. Time to speak. The governorship candidate Jimmy Agbaji says public servants will be treated well and that their welfare will get a major uplift if he is voted for.
We recognize the importance of the public service, and that means that we are going to take care of the public servants. It is a very inhumane government that continues to pay 12,000 naira national minimum wage against 18,000 national minimum wage. the Lagos State government continues to pay 12,000 as minimum wage to its workforce in a Lagos that is about the most expensive in our country. That in itself is inhumane. Again, you are aware that the allowances are not paid. Their leave allowances and all are not paid. In fact, the Lagos State government cannot boast of giving the staff correct pay slips. It produces a pay slip that does not make sense to even those that collect it. That is because it is not open and transparent in what it is doing. We want to assure you that our government, by God's grace, come May 29, will reverse all these negative points of the present government.
The party also continued with its campaign against violence before, during and after the elections. Oluwaseyi Adegoke, CoreTV News, Lagos.
Despite the postponement of the elections, political activities and campaigning have continued in Lagos, with the All Progressives Congress governorship campaign train making a stopover at the Oshodi Solo local government area of Lagos State. Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola at the rally says a vote for Akinwumi Ambode is a right choice for Lagos and Lagosians. Patience Ajiboye filed in this report presented from our studios.
Supporters of the party from all over Oshodi Solo local government areas massed at the field. Actors and actresses as well as artisans were there to show their support for the APC governorship candidate, Akinwumi Ambode. Others also used the balcony of the houses as a vantage point to gain a glimpse of the candidate and the state governor Babatunde Fashola. Time for what they described as serious business. Fashola says Lagosians should choose Ambode as a right choice to take the state further than he has done.
This election no be about my brother, no be about my town man, no be about my kinsman, not about hunger and poverty, not about security, not about economy, not about employment.
Governorship candidate Akinwumi Ambode says an improvement upon what has already been done is what he has as his cardinal point. He added that this will ensure that Lagos moves to the next level in terms of development.
What is the good news? We have brought good news to all of you. We are on this Ejigbo playing ground. We are going to turn it into a stadium. You know, I've always told you, I am ready to improve on anything that the present governor leaves unfinished. Wherever it stops, I'm going to continue with it. And I have said it, I am going to integrate tourism, hospitality, entertainment and sports together to create more jobs for all our youth.
Members of the PDP led by Sahid Adeyemi were also accepted into the APC fold and promised that despite the shift in polls date, they will work to deliver more votes for the party to coast home to victory.
Political parties and candidates seeking elective offices in the Federal Capital Territory have signed a peace accord ahead the 2015 elections. The agreement was at the instance of the police authorities, which insisted that they will not tolerate any act of violence by politicians and their supporters. The police explained that the tension created by the political class makes it necessary to compel the candidates and their parties to commit themselves to non-violence.
Let us maintain it at this level. Let us not go beyond this. Rather, as we finish this meeting today, you call your supporters to order. The question of sharing posters, as my friend rightly said there, attacking another campaign team that is coming back from campaigns, ambushing people, should be a thing of the past. Because after this meeting, I have told him before now, and he will tell his officers down the ladder, we will pick you, and we will keep you, you will remain there until after the election.
I want to urge the people who have
traveling and running back home, to stay back in the FCT and stay back in every part of Nigeria. I think that by the grace of God, there will be peace. The 2015 general elections will come and go, but Nigeria will remain as one entity. And as such, it will be one other day, like any other normal day, which will come and pass.
Yes, yes. It has been established that some rural areas like Kawo, Shere, Igu, Karishi, all those rural areas, that's where rigging normally take place. It is information which I have supplied, and I want the REC and the security agents to work on that. Then on the peace accord we signed, the most important thing is not for us to sign peace accord, is to abide by it. The day I declared, I told my supporters, if you kill anybody because of Maxwell Opera, the blood of that person will be on your head. And that also it's on record, it's on media. I want each candidate to tell their supporters like that on air, so that we know that we are serious.
In an effort to stem the tide of insurgency and illegal possession of arms in the country, the Kwara State Police Command has paraded suspects arrested for trans-border arms smuggling. The police leadership in the state has thus reiterated its stand in the fight against insecurity by doing all possible in tackling influx of illegal arms and ammunition. Rashid again has more.
While displaying the truck laden with a cache of arms and ammunition, the Kwara Police Chief briefed journalists on how the command was able to nab the transporter gun-running suspect.
We were arrested by the Nigerian police men attached to Kosovo on an operation we call stop and search operation. So they suspected the vehicle, and they sought to see what was the contents, and by so doing, they discovered it was carrying cartridges, live cartridges, and it has some compartments, very hidden compartments. And, the ACCID has to go there by himself, and that's how we're able to even get the actual numerics of the content of the vehicle.
The suspect, whose name remains undisclosed, explained his mission and destination before being apprehended in Kosubosu, Barutin local government area of the state, by men of the police command.
I was arrested because I used a gun to threaten a civilian. So in which I confessed to the police that the gun belonging to me belongs to my late father, and the bulletproof too. So the police have to go to my house twice to make some of this, to raid some of this from my late father's wardrobe. I'm really sorry for everything. Like, I was supposed to build my dad's image, my late dad's image, but I know where he is right now. He's very, very sad for what I have done.
In a related development, the police command paraded one Momo David for illegal possession of arms.
The underlisted items, like you can see, are recovered from one individual. We had a Beretta pistol, and this gun belonged to Ondo State Police Command. One locally made of barrel gun. We have 133 pieces of 7.6 mm ammunition. That ammunition belongs to AK-47. And you know how very powerful. In Africa today, there's no small weapon that is as powerful as AK-47.
How were you arrested?
At Kosom Boso.
Now what do you do? Where they
okay, the arrest, I carry exhibits with the arrest me.
Where are you from?
From Ghana.
So you are Ghanaian?
I'm a half Ghanaian, half Nigerian.
Okay. Where do you carry this and where are you taking it to?
I'm from Ghana. I'm taking it to Ibadan.
To who?
Ibadan.
As the suspects head to court after investigations are concluded, more security measures have been put in place in the state following the approach of electioneering period. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ilorin.
The police authorities have redeployed 33 police commissioners as part of efforts to reposition the force Police spokesman Emmanuel Ejiko said in a statement that the movements are also due to openings created by postings to the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru in Jos. Some of the highlights includes the deployment of AK Shodipo from Oyo State to the Special Fraud Unit in Abuja has to be replaced by CP Musa Mohammed, who until now was at NIPSS. A civil rights group, the National Conscience Movement, has dismissed claims by National Security Advisor Sambo Dasuki that Boko Haram will be crushed within 6 weeks. The NSA has said this in the aftermath of the postponement of the general election, but the group said at a news conference in Abuja that Dasuki is simply setting the stage for another excuse. Its members insist that the NSA cannot be trusted and are demanding that he stepped down from the position.
I understand Dasuki to be saying that there will be no elections. That's the meaning of what he's saying. Nigerians should take that statement to mean that Dasuki is saying there will be no elections, because a man who has told 9 lies and only told 1 truth cannot be taken on the strength of that single truth. So I want to believe that that statement is part of the game of deceiving Nigerians to calm down and then give them some level of trust.
We've asked this same commander-in-chief and his security advisor, what is your plan for fighting the insurgency for almost 2 years? And MOM has been the answer. So what has changed from the defensive position of protecting Maiduguri, Yola, and all the state capitals? That the military would not be able to go into an offensive position to crush the insurgents? Is it the multinational forces that will be used? What intel do the multinational forces have? The multinational forces do not even have a roadmap yet. They do not even know where their funding is coming from. So why is he insulting the intelligence of Nigerians? Because of their own hidden agenda.
Niger's parliament has voted unanimously to send Niger's parliament, I beg your pardon, has voted unanimously to send 750 troops to Nigeria to join a regional force against Boko Haram. This comes within a day after an attack by the insurgent group on Difia, a Nigerian town bordering Borno State. Niger's National Assembly President Damo Salifo said after the vote that the joint effort will help crush a group he accused of damaging the reputation of the Islamic faith. It's CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take another break and be back with business, sports and stories outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
Which person can you carry?
And we now for MTN
Cash Quest.
You see the look? Plenty people don't they win 10 million naira every week and 1 million naira every day. To win, just dial *170# for free and correct who go the with you. Whether that TV or generator or phone, you fit win all for free every day.
MTN, everywhere you go.
Welcome back now to business. The Nigerian government says that the 1 million meters it plans to supply to Nigerians as part of the efforts of government to bridge the wide metering gap in the power sector will be procured from the local manufacturers in electricity meters. Nigerian Minister of State for Power Mohammed Wakil told newsmen that all the 1 million meters would be sourced locally to encourage the local manufacturers of meters in the country. They said though the power sector had been transformed and privatized, the government still has a very crucial role to play to ensure that Nigerians got what they wanted. According to him, there are 2 or 3 local companies that manufacture meters in Nigeria, and that these companies have the capacity to supply the 1 million meters. Recall that Nigeria's Minister of Power, Chinedu Nebo, had on January 15, 2015, announced that President Goodluck Jonathan had approved funds for the procurement of 1 million electricity meters, which would be given to Nigerians to cushion the effect of inadequate metering in the private sector. Nigeria's Naira weakened to more than 200 per dollar for the first time following the announcement of the postponement of the general elections by 6 weeks, as traders fear West Africa's worst performing currency might be devalued. The Naira retreated 2.2%, the most since December 22nd, to 202.50 per dollar as of earlier today. The Naira has tumbled 17% over the past 3 months. Analysts say it may depreciate to 263 prices before the rescheduled elections. Reports say investors are delaying decisions to commit money to Nigeria as escalating violence by the Islamist group Boko Haram in the country's northeastern region prompted the Electoral Commission to push back the vote for 6 weeks to March 28. Record in November, policymakers weakened the midpoint of the official exchange rate to 168 per dollar from 155 and raised the benchmark borrowing cost to a record 13% to stem losses in the currency. It's now time to join Sabina Izoku for Stock Market Report. Over to you, Sabina.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report is brought to you by MTN. MTN, everywhere you go.
Hello there and welcome to the Stock Market Report segment with me, Sabina Izuku. The equity transaction on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today as the Nigerian All-Shares Index depreciated by 0.80% to close at 29,125.69 basis points. The market capitalization decreased to close at 9.71 trillion naira. In all, the total volume of 320.79 million units of shares, valued at 4.1 billion naira, were exchanged in 4,116 deals. On the gainer side, Echo Transnational Incorporation topped the gainers chart to close at 17 naira with a difference of 50 kobo, followed by Dangote Sugar, Honey Flour, Transnationwide Express, and RTV Briscoe. On the flip side, 40 odd topped the losers chart, followed by Nigerian Brewers, Beta Glass, International Breweries, and Guarantee Trust Bank. On the traders side, First Bank Nigerian Holdings topped the traders chart, followed by Guarantee Trust Bank, Access Bank, Diamond Bank, and United Bank for Africa. So just to wrap up the stock market report, here's the currency trade for today.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report is brought to you by MTN. MTN, everywhere you go.
And from Sabina, we move to Brownson Omana for sports.
Feels good to have you on our sport news tonight. I am Brownson Uwana. The League Management Company has fixed March 7, 2015 as a date for the commencement of the Nigerian Professional Football League (NPFL) for the 2014-2015 season. The LMC recently gave two options of January 21 and March 7 for the start of the hostility, and circulars were sent to various clubs for them to choose the more preferred of both dates, but the league body has opted for the latter, with a fresh date for the start of the 2015 general elections being fingered as brain behind the new development. Owing to this, the LMC has announced a registration deadline for February 20 for the clubs to submit their licensing and documents for the new season or risk severe sanctions. The documents expected to be submitted by the 20 clubs in the flight, including proof of debt carried over, financial guarantee, and medical support of players. Football fans in Ivory Coast celebrate the return of the Elephants after Havadrena's side won the African Cup of Nations for the first time since 1992. Football fans in Ivory Coast partied late into the night after the Elephant lifted the African Cup of Nations title on Sunday, ending a 23-year drought with a win over Ghana in a penalty shootout. In the commercial capital, Abidjan, a group of supporters giddy with victory gathered on street corners to hail passing cars, many of which are trapped in the national flag.
The coach is not a magician. He's someone who works with staff to put things in place. The things we do, they don't mean we can go and be perfect in Cameroon after just a week. Far from it, that was catastrophic. You see the road we traveled, we succeeded in a short period of time, and that's thanks to the players. We are happy. We see the importance of winning titles, we see the joy we bring to the people, and to the children who dream to one day become like us. I'm happy and proud to be a footballer. At each crossroad we see crowds, and I think it's impressive. I have never experienced this, and I enjoyed success at Lille, but that was different. To win the trophy for your country is extraordinary.
Finally, on our sport news tonight, Paris Saint-Germain and Sweden football stars Zlatan Ibrahimovic joined the drove of celebrity that have been immortalized in wax at Paris' acclaimed Museum Gravin Wax Museum on Monday. In his PSG stripe, the same as his wax time, the outspoken star was all smiles as he posed for photograph and walked to journalists.
Feels amazing. Feels amazing. I mean, I said it many times now. I'm very proud, very happy. I mean, since 1 year ago we started with this, and today is the result. So I'm very happy with the result. It doesn't look happy, but we are happy, both of us.
And that's a wrap on Sport News tonight. A very big thanks for watching. I am Brownson Uwana.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
We now go outside Nigeria, where Damascus has received information about airstrikes by the U.S.-led coalition against the Islamic State ISIS group in Syria. President Bashar al-Assad said in an interview published on Tuesday, February 10th, Damascus has grudgingly accepted the strikes against ISIS on its territory that began on September 23rd last year, but has repeatedly criticized the coalition for failing to coordinate with it. It says the raids cannot defeat ISIS unless the international community starts cooperating with Syrian troops on the ground. Washington has ruled out working with Assad's government against ISIS, and the Syrian leader said Damascus had no interest in joining the coalition. The comment appeared to be a reference to coalition support for other rebel groups fighting to overthrow him, all of which his government derides as terrorists. The White House will ask Congress by Wednesday for new authority to use force against Islamic State fighters. Congressional aides said on Monday, paving the way for lawmakers' first vote on the scope of a campaign that is already 6 months old. The United States is leading an international coalition against Islamic State, and President Barack Obama launched an air campaign in August against the militant fighters who had killed thousands of people while seizing swaths of territory in Iraq and Syria. The administration's failure so far to seek a formal authorization to use military force for the campaign has caused some members of the Congress to express concern that it overstepped the president's constitutional authority. Orders have said that lawmakers should weigh in on an issue as important as the use of military force. The administration has said the campaign is legal based on authorization passed under President George W. Bush in 2002 for the Iraq War and in 2001 for fighting Al-Qaeda, an associated group. And that wraps our news for tonight. But just before we go, a reminder of our top stories. The People's Democratic Party says the Independent National Electoral Commission was not ready for the February polls, which have been put off till March 28th and 11th of April. We also told you that the All Progressives Congress says President Goodluck Jonathan must clear the air on plans to sack INEC boss Tahiru Jaga. You also heard from us that the federal government says it has succeeded in empowering 2,500 entrepreneurs and created over 5,000 direct jobs. Thanks so much for staying on with us till the end. On behalf of the entire production crew, I am Gift or Geta. You have a lovely, lovely night rest. Good night.